a fable. Howdy, howdy, ho, when you looking in your mirror, when you fit, it's legit, and it can't get any clearer. You're the wave, you're the rave, the unanimous conclusion. Carrying the bad like Stevie Wonder with contusions. It's the guitar Chuck coming for Chuck Berry. Mighty high tones from Minnie Rip, Mariah Carey. Elijah, my plug smooth, Brian, and Embiid. Everybody got it in to find yours and succeed.
All right, welcome out Cigar Season 2, Episode 3. Welcome in, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Good.
Doing great.
Yeah, Doc.
I am fantastic. I'm really fantastic. Thank you for asking.
And we have a guest star today. I'd like to introduce Big Mo.
Big Mo.
How's it going, guys? Good to see
Hi,
you.
Mo.
And
Hey,
Mo
Big
is a
Mo.
retired Border Patrol, so we thought it'd be cool to get you on the show and talk about some of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should be. We're pretty big time nowadays. So,
Looks like it. Season 2.
yeah.
So
We weren't talking about your weight either.
I wasn't expecting that.
I didn't know what to say.
Nice job.
Hurt, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're the guest. He's not going to talk about you.
That's fine.
You got to be here a couple times and then he loads on you.
Yeah, we won't tease it too badly.
Oh,
Well, we'll see.
I brought my best.
We are going to smoke. So this is actually kind of a pretty cool episode because we're going to crack open the Amazon BASON 2025. We did a review last year on this one for the 24, and it was successful. It's a great review. Had our most views, actually.
Really? This was the one?
This
Yeah.
is the cigar, yeah.
So when we put the monkeys on the logo that first time, and all of a sudden it jumped up to over 1,000 views overnight.
Like, I kind of feel like we should have the monkeys back.
We might. I can do that again. Jeez.
Just
What's
saying.
neat about this, though, so CAO promises, they came out and said it's going to be the same blend, same flavors. So I'm expecting the same thing. We've got Brazilian, Ecuadorian, Sumatra binder, and then Nicaragua filler in this cigar.
Say
Now,
that again?
these are a very limited cigar.
Extremely limited
So-
cigar. In fact, it's more limited than last year. I was able to secure like 12 boxes last year. This year I could only get 2. So big
Right
time
now
difference.
in the store, they're selling for what, $23?
Yeah.
They are very limited, and so if you
Yeah,
get a
if you
chance to get
come
one,
grab 'em.
I would.
Yeah.
But there is a limit of 2 per customer as you come in.
Yep. And again, so it's got the Brazilian tobacco, so the Amazon tobacco,
Which is
in
the
it,
filler.
which is the actual filler.
Okay.
And Nicaragua filler as well. They kind of mix that, and then the outer binder is the Ecuadorian Sumatra binder.
So,
Wrap up,
the
sorry.
filler is the tobacco from the Amazon then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Mixed with the Nicaraguan.
Yes.
So it'll have a little bit more of a
You're gonna have
mild pepper.
Yeah, you're gonna have pepper in this,
Yeah.
if I remember from last year too. Yeah.
But I mean, I should ask the our cigar Wikipedia guy. Is that what it would be?
Gotcha.
Hey, what are the what are the notes that we may be tasting in this?
I'm gonna V-cut mine. What about you guys?
I'm V-cutting mine as well.
I already V-cutted mine.
Oh, you're good.
Because
You have, to,
V-cut's
you, have
the
to
way to
taste
go.
it, you have to taste it to figure out the notes.
Cold pull.
Go bowl. Cold smell.
It's like a lap cutter. It's like a lap dog, but lap
You
cutter.
just smell the Amazon.
I'm getting raisin.
So that's actually a key note is spicy raisin.
Spicy raisin.
You got more prune, not raisin.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a mixture.
Could be my age. I
Yeah.
need some more prunes now.
You're totally right. That's a prune. That's not a raisin. You old prune. You prune ass glove.
Let's light this bad boy up.
Old ass glove guy.
You kind of failed on that one.
Our first comment, our only comment we had was they called him old ass glove.
We got
guy. So
Chris,
Old-ass glove
Two
guy
Guys Mobile
sneezing.
DJ is on watching right
Oh,
now.
Chris, what's up, Chris?
right on, man.
Thanks for being here. Man, that's just a good smell.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So as tradition would put, they did twine this with 5 twines. It's always like that. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's 4 twines.
4 twines. Okay.
4 twines, and it is burnable, so you don't even have to take the twine off. You smoke through it.
Can we actually say twine in public? Is that,
You can.
that
Yep.
just sounds like an inappropriate word.
And if you're
Queen.
happy, just say it's gay.
Okay. Can we say gay?
If you're happy, sure.
I'm pretty gay right now.
So, Rue, what we bring to drink and pair with us today?
I brought a couple scotches. I had actually this cigar a few nights ago with Dalmore, and I actually kind of like the pairing, so I think I would do that. I also brought Dewar's 12-year, mainly just because I wanted to grab another scotch, and I haven't done anything with that in a while, so I was like, you know, why not? Because I'm probably going to start with the Dalmore, and I'm going to move over to Dewar's. And then if all else fails, we have our reliable standby Don Julio.
I like that one.
So, for some of these guys may not be able to handle the scotch the peatiness. So
I like this one because I am a doer.
I am. There really should be a comeback to that one, and there's just nothing that came to me.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's getting slow in his old
Still
age.
coming back from my jokes.
Well, I took a nap earlier, and I don't usually take naps, so I may not be at 100%. I could still be back in my bed sleeping. So I may be a little slow tonight.
Old acid glove nap guy.
Maybe. I may just start old guys, we just start falling asleep over here.
I think that's happened before, actually.
So what kind of notes are you guys getting off the light up here?
Mine kind of went out, so I'm going to relight this.
It's because you're too busy talking about me and picking on me and making me feel insignificant and inferior.
Okay.
Definitely getting some pepper on this. It's kind of leathery, kind of like dark
Yeah,
chocolate
I got the
and
leather
some
color.
pepper.
It is.
It's a beautiful wrapped cigar. I like how dark it is.
It's good though.
You can see the veins kind of running through the cigar.
They've always been a naturally dark cigar. I mean, you look at it, and that's a dark, almost like, that's a Maduro. You know what I'm saying? But is that Gregorian Smosh?
Is this the first year they've had it or last year?
No, we're working on, this is year, 21 was the first year they came out with these, so we're looking at year 3.
Nice.
It's 4, I guess.
So Jim, how long were you part of Border Patrol?
24 years.
24 years.
4 presidents.
What did you do before at Border Patrol? What did you do before Border Patrol?
Worked at a small private security firm in South Boston, Massachusetts, and was in the U.S. Army.
Oh, the Army, huh?
Yes.
You were in the Army?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I was in the Army.
I heard that about you. Way up in no man's land. Up by
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
How many years were you in the Army?
8 years.
Oh, 8 years.
Yeah.
So 8 years in the Army.
Yes.
And 24 years at California Border Patrol.
Yeah, they gave me a certificate with 32 on it. Doing the math.
Hey, good- yeah, I was actually, yeah.
What
So-
years were you in the Army?
91 to 99.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was in high school.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Jake.
Grandpa.
All right, I got a granddaughter. I'm okay with that.
So what made you choose Border Patrol?
Oh, man. I put in for Boston PD, Boston Housing Authority, Mass State Police, DEA, and Border Patrol. Took the intelligence research specialist. Not the exam, but I got the interview in Boston there in the 90s when they had a freeze, hiring freeze, under William Jefferson Clinton. And then Border Patrol,
I did
94.
not have sex with that woman.
Yeah. Named an airport after him, too, and his wife. And
So what did you actually were on security detail with them?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, this is just, he was asking me what I did before.
Oh,
So I
okay.
put in to be in law enforcement,
Gotcha.
back home, and go to Devon's and all that, but
Cool.
yeah, didn't work out that way, and then they sent me to Georgia after taking that, that D lab or all that stuff we had to take in the Army, how to learn how to speak another language. Then they sent us to Georgia for 19 weeks, and off to San Diego we went
Wow.
for 24 years.
When did you start CBP?
After a thing called 9/11,
Really?
then the agency switched from Immigration and Naturalization Service, Department of Justice, to CBP, DHS. So this patch never changed, but the combat side did, and we were all like, we all wanted to put black tape on the CBP side. We weren't too happy getting another patch on our uniform.
Oh, really?
Not a big fan. No. But when I was in the academy, though, we had 6 shooters. That's how old I am.
Oh, wow.
We were the last agency to, yeah. We had,
Wheel guns?
yeah. Had
Nice.
Smith & Wesson 686s and
I have one
Ruger
of those. I love
GP100s. So
that.
they're great.
Yep.
I had night sights. I was always on midnight shift, so
Yep.
it was good. But
That's awesome.
we had, we had loops. We didn't have, had a couple of,
Yeah, right.
get them in there fast. And every year they have competitions through all the law enforcement agencies.
Fast load.
Border Patrol always wins, beats FBI, ATF, Secret
Are you
Service.
just saying that?
No,
You did.
I've been around since 1924.
That's awesome.
Yeah, got a bunch of pistoleros, so that was pretty decent, but definitely not pistol team. Those guys are awesome.
Oh, yeah.
National pistol team, amazing.
So going through Border Patrol with 4 different presidents, what kind of changes did you see in the transition each year between each president?
Let's see. Clinton really didn't give a crap. He just gave us a lot of money. He was not a big law
Hey,
enforcement
we
guy.
like money.
Yeah. Bush, decent, made us work, mandatory 6-day work weeks. A lot of people were mad with that, but it's overtime.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 happened, and then, they were like, who knows how to shoot an M16 or an M4? All the veterans raised their hands, and it's like, all right, you going to New York City or Boston or Connecticut tomorrow. Why is that? Well, 9/11.
Yep.
There weren't any planes flying on that day, except for military intelligence agencies. So yeah, it was something else. The port of entry was shut down, and that's what we did. Ports of entry. When I was a trainee, we had people in white uniforms, which were immigration, and customs were blue, and then they merged before 9/11, I think, and they just became customs agents. And then you have agriculture and all the, you get asylum and all the other entities that moved over. And we were always in between the ports of entry. So we were the Pacific Ocean to the San Ysidro Port of Entry. So we had those 5 miles, and then it would go all the way east, all the way to Texas, to the Gulf of America.
Go for America now.
America. We should drop the A and just been America.
America.
Gulf America.
Well, you can do that.
Oh, the rednecks in this country, man. We would have dug that.
Just a bunch of yee signs.
Hell yeah.
Go for America.
America.
Well, we are in North America.
Who was the best president you worked for? Under?
Donald Trump.
Okay.
My
hands
last
down.
2 years, yeah.
And you say that because
The wait in Mexico plan that he has just reinitiated, where people moving north in their large caravans, getting on trains, whatever, they sit in Tijuana or, places close to the border, Ciudad Juarez, down in El Paso, and they sit there and they wait in line for their permission to come in. If it goes past that time, they get sent back to their country by Mexico. So it worked all those years ago. But the last 4 years were, disaster.
Oh, absolutely.
Immigration-wise.
Open border?
Yeah. So, everyone's seen that. Under Obama was the DAPA, and that, really put you guys can't run into churches after, chasing 2 people that just robbed a bank. Really? It's a church.
Yeah.
But they have guns. You're like, oh, but you can't go in there because it's a church. So, the restrictions kept piling up over the years. And, like firearms-wise, we switched to a Beretta 96D. We had the 92F in the Army, which was okay, but it was actually easy to throw at someone.
PF92, yeah.
I didn't like the...
was that 9 millimeter?
gun?
No, I didn't like the Beretta.
Is that 9 millimeter?
Love that gun.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
that's-
the 96 was a 40.
What was the one before that?
PF92.
We had the 357.
Okay,
We had the GP100s.
because I had a Beretta 9 when I had the M60 in the Army. I was issued that. What would that have been?
92F. That was the 9 millimeter.
92, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was, yeah.
not
exactly.
terribly impressed with that.
Whatever. I think that's the Cadillac of guns. I love that.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we changed this.
How can you justify that? Not to get off topic.
Well, I'll tell you an interesting story about the PF92.
Oh, there's a story time.
There is. It's story time.
Oh.
So I
Get comfortable.
always
Here we go.
wanted the PF92, a blued version. That was like I don't know why. It was just the best looking gun I've ever seen. I've seen it in movies. It's got an open, so if you don't know what the PF92 is, actually, when I publish this video, I'll put a picture of it. But it's got an open rail system, so you see the barrel through it, and when it chambers, the barrel slides through the rail system. So it's a little different. Tried and true. I mean, it's a service gun. Say, wait. Say what were you saying?
No, it is.
You're looking, you're correct me on something.
You went with, we had 6 in the
Yeah.
in the pistol, and then we had 12 just sitting there. So we had to, it was leather belts too.
Yeah.
So we were as old school as you could get. And then when we went to the Beretta, it went to the nylon, so it was lighter.
Much better. Yeah. Well, plus you have magazines. It's much different. And I think the PF92, that gun, it's holds 15 in the magazine plus 16.
You'll turn green.
Yeah, plus 1. So, okay. So the story is, I got this PF92. It was definitely a service weapon. Unregistered. I was super happy about it. This was years ago, and I kind of found myself coveting the gun. I really did. It was a blued. It was perfect. No scratches, nothing. It was never holstered. And I had it in my safe, and I'm like, man, this gun is so freaking nice. I love this gun. When I shot it, it was the smoothest feeling gun. I saw it was 9mm. I shot it. It was beautiful. It was cycled well. So it became kind of an idol for me. It really did. As silly as that sounds, but it was my safe gun, man. I loved that gun. Well, God said, you need to get rid of that gun, bro. And I had a buddy
Wait,
at
what?
the time. Yeah, God told me. God
Yeah,
said,
I'm pretty sure nothing in the Bible that any prophet said, you know what, you need to get rid of your gun.
I'm not saying biblical. I'm saying God was speaking to me and said, you need to get rid of the gun. It's an idol.
That was
It's a-
Satan.
You remember, he hears from the Lord.
Anyways, so shut your mouth. So anyways, I
That
wound
was a
up
point
giving
against me, not you.
I wound up giving the gun away, and it was a great thing. And I did never replace it, so I still to this day do not have a PF92. Now, God hasn't said I shouldn't replace it, but I just feel like I shouldn't. So that's my story on the PF92.
All right.
You have a Beretta 380, and it's like a mini version of that one. It's like,
That gun sucks, though.
I bought off a guy years ago because he's like, I don't know, he was going into a retirement home. It's like, you want it? Sure.
Yes, please.
I mean, that's kind of one of those things with guns. If anyone's ever getting rid of the gun, and I recommend you go through the gun stores to make sure it's all legal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
But pre that time is when I got all my guns. So, yeah, you just, whenever someone's offering up a gun, like, okay. You never know. You know? So,
It's a good idea. Rates back.
although I don't need any more.
We
Yeah,
haven't been
probably
in a
do.
while. Haven't been in the ranch in a while.
Yeah.
So,
I did
Chris-
about a month ago.
What flavors are you getting out of this cigar?
Well, I'm actually getting, I'm getting a little bit of a maple flavor that just hit the back of my tongue. What do you guys think?
Maple, huh?
A light maple.
Is that banana? I think I taste banana.
That's because it has Brazilian tobacco.
Mango?
It does have a sweetness. I don't know if I would say it's maple or maybe a molasses. It's kind of,
It's also that's a tad bit
it's-
of a chocolate.
it's
flavor, too.
peppery with kind of a dark chocolate, not too sweet,
So
but then
the-
it's got like a different note, which
So the maple's hitting my back palate, the very back of the tongue, and it's on the very end of the retrohale. Chocolate is hitting me. That's much of a sweeter note
Yeah.
that I'm taking in for sure.
What about you, Jim? You taste any flavors?
Hey,
here?
fuck you.
Spicy? It is a spicy cigar. It does have a good draw. It's burning pretty
Hey,
evenly.
fuck you, man.
Hold on. The very back part of my palate, like the very last taste buds are the ones tasting it. The whole rest of the tongue and the palate is getting something very different. What is the very different that's on the forefront now of the tongue?
Oh, chocolate note.
So not the very tip top back.
No,
but
definitely
from
not
that
back there.
forward, you're getting chocolate.
Is that what's going on here? Something's going on here. All right, let me read.
Turn up the hearing aid.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Carry on.
Carry on. He said, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, it was just funny as hell. So I got one taste bud way back in the corner that tastes vanilla.
Which quadrant?
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
You got to put the cigar further in your mouth if you want to change that
Yeah.
flavor.
The left driver's side of my mouth has more of like a vanilla bean flavor.
Okay, doctor, you want to go down this road. How many taste buds are on your tongue?
Oh, like 1,000.
Yeah, okay.
That's why there's one in mine that tastes vanilla. All the other one are arguing with that little one, saying you're full of shit.
I'm not arguing anymore.
Yeah.
its tongue's fighting with itself.
Yeah, I guess so.
And my retro hat, my nose is even like, dude, you're full of shit. You know, like, no, there's no vanilla here.
Conflict.
Yeah. So I have a lot of turmoil in my mouth.
It's called trauma.
This is,
ordinary Larry trauma.
oh man, I finally beat him though. I did. All right, whatever you guys were talking about earlier before this, carry on.
Spicy.
You got Mr. Serious over there. Can we stop with the jokes, please?
Mr. Serious. You just leave yourself wide open for jokes.
I do leave myself, but I mean, it's I could not. It just was funny. Shut up. Carry on, man. Do your thing. Talk about your notes, Wikipedia.
Talk about my notes. So tell me about this vanilla flavor.
There's no vanilla in this Amazon Basin. Okay, so
There's
I
no
got a
vanilla.
Real statement. So for the 2025 Basin, do you guys? Well, I guarantee you recall the 24 Basin. So what do you feel comparison-wise so far? Better, worse?
I would say that this one is a bit more spicy than the 24 right now. I mean, you're still in the start of it. The 24 was a great cigar. It's been so long ago since I had one, it's kind of hard to compare. But I do remember that it was a pretty smooth, like,
That's what I was going to say.
It was a
I
pretty
remember it
smooth
being
smoke.
A little smoother last
I think
year.
it was more of a medium to full, where I'm thinking this is going to be more just full body. Just it's definitely with the pepper notes. It's more of a kick right now.
And it's got the Nicaragua punch too.
Yeah.
It's more pepper. You're right. I think you're right on that.
I actually would agree with that one. I agree with you, Adam. Good job.
The first
On that one.
Well, tonight.
tonight, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I usually don't agree with you because most of the time you're full of shit. But right then, I actually do agree with. So it was pretty good. I actually do agree. I think there's a little more peppery. I think the last year's was a smoother thing, but yeah, I'm noticing more of a peppery part. Now I'm just in the first third though, and usually I find that after the first third, the pepper usually calms down.
Well, we have some people in the audience. Are you guys getting any notes? You guys smoking the same thing?
We get some of the sweetness, but a lot of the pepper.
Sweetness and pepper.
Sweetness. and pepper.
Any maple?
No, but on that left side, I'm getting vanilla.
Yeah, see?
Oh yeah.
So his left side and your right side,
No, my left side. It was my driver's side.
your driver's side.
Yeah, my driver's side back part of the taste bud. Driver's side back seat.
But how come I couldn't
He's a
taste
backseat
the
driver.
maple on the top of my tongue, like the front part of my tongue? It was just in the back.
I really can't answer that. For
I know you can't.
For you.
Exactly. No.
Yeah,
you just
I don't
can't
have your tongue in my mouth right now. Okay.
I hope you don't have his tongue in your mouth ever.
Well, I mean, sorry. It's okay.
Bring back the Dickel, maybe.
Where's the George Dickel when you need it?
Yeah.
That
Chris,
was actually a really good whiskey, though. That Dickel was awesome.
well, you're enjoying this Doers right now, aren't you?
Actually, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's super smooth.
So, Doer 12 year.
Yep, that's a good one.
I actually may switch over to that here in a moment. Just something different. Because I had the Dalmore earlier this week.
So, Big Mo, do you see, as far as when it comes to border protection now, what do you see that's upcoming that Trump's going to do? So he kind of has a 2-year window here where he's got the House of Reps, the Senate on his side. Do you think he's going to make his moves now, or kind of like build up and then make his moves in another 2 years?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever saw the Ton Holman and Dr. Phil episode. They were down on the southern border
I did.
when they were putting the fence back together, but the former president was selling it. So it's going in. So it's
Yeah, I
a
saw that,
priority.
yeah.
I mean, it's what he ran on.
Here's the thing: Trump has 4 years. There's nothing. Well, there's nothing they can do at this point. He's gonna just shake things up and push things through. It's not like he's got to run for another 4 years after this. So,
Right.
I mean, until I'm just guessing how long it's going to take till they try and impeach him again. I'd say I'd give it less than 6 months, and they're already going to try and find some way to try and impeach him.
I
That's
don't.
next month.
Yeah, I don't know if I see that right now because Trump has got momentum going.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a lot of Democrats that are even supporting him right now more than ever before. Trump also knows what he's doing this time. It was like the first 4 years, it was like a test run. And then Biden came in there, screwed everything up even more, undid all the stuff that Trump put in. Trump knows what he's doing. He's going to maximize his 4 years like it's an 8-year term for him.
Having a businessman as the president is where change is going to happen. When you have a politician, they're after one thing: money. that's one thing Trump knows what to do with his money. And, they're right now shaving all this fraudulent stuff that's going on and finding money all over the place that is in funds that don't do anything.
Oh, I tell you something. I think I would love to be able to talk to them about this one thing, Medicare. And this is what I think. We're all getting older and still working. If you currently have an insurance policy, when you turn to 65, you should be able to keep that and not have Medicare unless you absolutely don't have anything else, and then you can go get it. Because right now, once you turn 65, you are mandated to take Medicare no matter what you have. I saw this with my father. He had my mom's retirement and had, I think, Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is a nationwide one. He had to give that one up. He had to give like this awesome insurance up to now have Medicare. And the problem with Medicare, it's controlling. And it's absolutely controlling. They will bankrupt you until they have to start paying. But if you have another insurance company, that means these insurance companies now are getting paid. They're getting taken care of. They're going to take care of you. So why not have that happen? It would really take a lot of the burden off Medicare. Why not just do that? That would save them billions of dollars a year just by doing that.
So where Medicare hurts my parents is the fact that my parents are on so many different prescriptions. Well, they don't cover a lot of the different prescriptions they're on, and then they have a thing called a donut. Like, you can spend so much here, and then all of a sudden, you're in the donut period now, so now you have to pay full price. And then that donut goes away, and then now they cover stuff again. So they have more money going on prescriptions every year than anything else.
Why do they call it a donut?
I don't know why they call it a donut, but it's a...
Can you look that up?
No.
It's like a pause. like Biden, it was a pause.
It's crazy because senior citizens, they need Medicaid, Medicare more than the younger people do, but yet they make it overpriced to where they can't afford it.
Well, I mean, also he's going to try to not tax Social Security, not tax people who make tips in the service industry. Those are huge. I mean,
overtime? I think he's even. Has that been brought back up yet?
Possibly. I mean, but I collect Social Security because of our.
Because you're old.
Our special designation as either firefighter or law enforcement. We get kicked out at 57. I chose to leave at 50. So I'd retire in another year, and they'd still kick me out. And actually, everyone throughout the government, except for immigration, are all getting, would you like to do this? Would you like to retire with 8 months' pay and resign?
Now, what year did you retire?
2018.
Oh, so
2
you're
years.
definitely first two. You're
Yeah.
the two. Second.
But I mean, it was an easy decision.
Yeah,
My wife retired before I did. She came up here for be with our grandkid.
She on PERS 1.
Yeah.
You got PERS 2, she got PERS 1?
Well, it's called TSP. but it's
TSP, okay.
similar. That's all. You know,
It's a big difference, like between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I got 3, which is not even called PERS anymore. It's so bad.
Oh God! Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, I did in 2008. I moved back to the East Coast with my wife. She went with me, which was really convenient. And when we went there, she was tier 1. And when we got back there, we thought we were going to be staying there, so we bumped her out, and then we came back here 2 years later and couldn't buy back in.
Oh man!
So I'm gonna have to keep working for the next 25 years to make up for that. So yeah, that was
So if you need good chiropractic service,
find somebody else.
Oregon Trail Chiropractic.
No, don't look at this.
So,
Stop staring at my chest.
what was your day-to-day activity? What was your job? Like, did you actually were you at a border gate? Were you cars coming through, or were you actually down the line?
It was they started. I think it was Operation Gatekeeper in '94. So so what the plan was to push everyone east up into the mountains, and then they're like, well, we didn't mean to do that. So out of that, sitting in static positions, we would, but we always had the opportunity to be on, the nationwide SWAT team, which is called BORTAC, Border Patrol Tactical Team, and they go to areas in South America.
Wow.
I mean, because we speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Do you speak Spanish?
I do.
Okay.
And I was a minority in the Border Patrol. And I don't think a lot of people know that.
Wow.
So,
That's interesting.
I mean, you have Puerto Rican, Dominican, Haitian, you got every Caribbean culture was in the Border Patrol. Everybody, that spoke Spanish.
Did you find that that was like, was that better for you or worse for you? I mean, I don't know how to
Better.
say it. Yeah.
I mean, learn from everybody else. I'm from Boston.
Yeah.
I had to go to Georgia to learn,
Right. Yeah.
how to speak it. I've been to
Yeah,
Spain.
so is it a requirement to speak another language?
Yes. And, they don't speak, we don't speak French up on the northern border.
Yeah.
And we only had, say, 300 agents in 2001 when 9/11 happened on the northern border.
Okay.
So 300 agents.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like a whole shift at my station when I was a trainee
Wow.
in San Diego.
That's, oh, I thought you were northern
So,
border.
yeah, no, but I mean, from Blaine, Washington,
Okay.
all the way to Fort Kent, Maine.
Oh, wow.
On one of our shifts in San Diego, that was how many people we had in those 3,000 something miles.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, there wasn't really a need for it up there at the time. Everything was really going on out south. But I think now it seems like there's a lot more attention going
Yeah,
on.
we're closer
Maybe
to
more-
2,000. But I
Yeah.
mean, when we were trainees, and I actually like the rain. I always have. So when it rained in California, everyone would come off the hills and come off way up close to the fence because, I mean, people jumped the fence when it was bad weather. So we'd be all the way in where all the streets are in different areas, just getting ready for them. And as a trainee, it was great because you'd see the videos that they had for us in the academy, and you'd see, "Ooh, you good? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Several hundred.
It happens a
Ash
lot.
down, ash down.
You see
always-
several hundred people jumping the fence in the video when we were in the academy. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't happen. Oh, yeah, it does.
Oh,
When
wow.
it rains, yeah. I mean, we were catching maybe 1,000 people at our station in 8 hours.
Damn.
8 hours?
8 hours when I first started.
Holy shit.
That was 95.
So what's the process when someone gets caught? You say you caught 1,000 people. What happens to that person at that point?
We call a transport van. They get brought to the station. Let you guys in on this. The senior guys would always leave all the bodies. And when I say bodies, my wife always corrects me. She's like, you can't say bodies. But we say bodies at work. How many bodies did you get on that last group? 10. Well, it's not dead bodies. They're,
Right.
prisoners, whatever. And so, I mean, the transport vans, back in the day, we'd have 2 or 3 just in our area, just bringing it back to the station. So we'd have a couple hundred people in one jail cell.
Jeez.
Wow.
And they would wait until the end of the shift, and then us all being tired at the end of the shift, they're like, okay, you guys
And-
go and process everybody.
And how many toilets are in one jail cell? One?
2.
2? For 100 people?
No. My question. So they get caught at the border. You got 1,000 people or so. They're held up in these cells. How many hours? And then when they get put back on a vehicle, where do they go?
They get put on a bus by our detention part of the Border Patrol, which is like a contracted, and then they'd be taken down to Whiskey 2, which was our gate by St. Isidro Port of Entry, and then all thrown back into, well, if they were all Mexicans, they would all be put back into Tijuana,
Okay, Tijuana.
Right.
Okay.
where we were. Or if it was El Paso, there'd be Ciudad Juarez.
Okay.
Same type of thing. If they were a criminal, all that stuff, U.S. Attorney would have all these, if they were, a murderer, child molester, those guys would go to a file to the U.S. Attorney, and they would be prosecuted for illegal entry, and then because of their record, because they came back in and they killed someone in L.A., well, they were going to prosecute them for that. It wasn't necessarily for the illegal it was the illegal entry,
Right.
but it's because they had a warrant out for them
Yeah.
also.
So hold on. Are they all fingerprinted when they get brought in and processed?
Yeah, I'm that old that we had a fingerprint system, and it was just starting, and we just took this back in the day. It was called the ident system, and it was just that. Now you take everything, and it just automatically
It's now digital, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it zips over to to Virginia FBI and comes back, and I'm sure you guys remember the Resendez Ramirez, the train killer you've seen on episodes of what was that one that Shamar Moore was on, Criminal Minds? That was the real story.
Yeah.
I mean, he was coming over back and forth, and he'd be taking the railroad cars up to Ohio, Indiana, all those. He killed a doctor, he killed all these people, but that information was withheld from us by other agencies. So we just, okay, this guy's been in the country 37 times, we'll just throw him back south like we did with everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, when something like that hit the paper, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
In a lot of things that we did, never made the paper. It's like we had, let's see, the night of, September 9th or September 10th, 2001, we had 2 vans come north of the port of entry. So they drove the wrong way through Mexican customs, and we were able to spike the vehicles, which was deploy a controlled tire device, and we were able to catch all 37 people in both of those vans. So we worked from September 9th into like September 10th, the afternoon. I remember there were Mexicans, Guatemalans, and there was one gentleman from somewhere in the Middle East. And they all showed up to their hearing because we all went and we testified for that. But that case was like a precursor to Joint Terrorism Task Force when we had to fight against terrorism. That case, so we all went home. Our boss was like, you guys don't have to come in for September 10th, for September 11th. So my dad called me on September 11th at, was it 6 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time, but 9 o'clock, 9:07 or whatever it was. And he goes, we're under attack. My dad, you know, he was in the Army, he was a school teacher, most locked on, shined his shoes all the time, always. He was like, you know, he was 5 when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Wow. So I was like, Dad, what's wrong? And he goes, we're under attack. And he goes, there's been a bombing at the State Department. That's been eliminated. I haven't been able to find that on the internet. And then one plane had already hit the tower. So the second plane, when I turned the TV on, hit the South Tower. And I was like, what the hell was that? And he goes, we're under attack. So, I mean, that's, you know, I'll never forget that. That was...
Yeah, I was on the East Coast when it happened. I was in Delaware, only 3.5 hours from it.
Yep.
A lot more real on the East Coast than it was on the West Coast.
Definitely. Yeah. You know, so things like that, you know, jobs changed drastically after that. Everything got better. The computer system, I mean, everything was so much better, but it was painful growth at the job. You know, the gadgets got better. Our vehicles, I mean, we used to have the OJ Ford Broncos. Those things were badass. Those were great. 94, 95, they were awesome.
That's probably why he used it, you know. I mean, he's a hard charger on the, you know, the playing field. Might as well get something that does on the road.
So what did they upgrade you to?
Let's see, we had Chevy Tahoes, and then when I left, we had those Ram Chargers.
Okay, wait. Was ICE around when you were in?
Yes,
How did you feel about those guys?
great.
Yeah.
A lot of guys move. Actually, next month, I'm going down to see a bunch of classmates. Some made it all the way up to section
Finish
chief. They were stationed in other countries
Or not.
in the Border Patrol, and where they left to go to detentions or asylum or ATF or Secret Service. So we're all getting together because it's our 30th reunion.
You-
When
wait.
we went to the academy.
What, you put asylum in with ATF? What is asylum?
Well, no, it's part of the immigration service.
Oh, okay.
An asylum officer,
I got you.
you know.
Seek asylum,
You're right.
just like the cigar.
But
Yeah,
you know,
there's a really good.
you go see an
good job.
immigration judge
Right.
for either asylum or, you know, removal proceedings. And what he's doing right now, this was all planned out. I mean, we all know that. When you were saying, you know, he's got 4 years to do it, he had all this in motion before he got sworn in.
Okay.
I mean, when you see Tom Holman, who was a Border Patrol agent,
Yep.
NYPD officer,
Yep.
and he's doing it. You got Christy Noem. She was wearing our jacket the other night with our Border Patrol hat,
Oh,
and she
okay.
had the correct, you know, I'm drawing a blank on that. When an agent dies, we put a black tab on the badge from that Vermont officer that died on Inauguration Day, and that was someone who was here on an H-1B visa from Germany.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, what's an illegal alien?
Yeah.
Everybody here in the room would have a different answer to that.
That's true.
And the press likes to say immigrant, which is incorrect. You know,
As Lars Larson's kind of pointed out multiple times, it's alien, not immigrant. You need to change the term.
What is your thought on local agencies not wanting to adhere to the stuff that Trump just locked in as far as immigration and ICE, and there's a lot going around that especially in Oregon here in Democratic places that they're not willing to help ICE out and
The
work.
sanctuary cities.
Yeah, they not work in
Well,
joint.
sanctuary
Yeah.
state, right. Let's see, when I was young, back in the 90s, we would get people from, the police departments in Chula Vista or National City, like called Nasty City, because it was back then, or just any of the agencies, San Diego Sheriff, San Diego Police, would call us and say, hey, we have somebody. Well, a lot of times it was, sometimes, and I have the utmost respect for police, because I didn't do that, but it was towards the end of their shift, and they didn't really determine someone's alienage, so they would call us, and we would determine that on the spot, and they would have his record, his rap sheet. This one time, to answer your question, picked up someone from National City. Guy had a warrant, so bring him back to the station, process him. Okay, he's an illegal alien, but he has a warrant, so the warrant is a good check mark for the law enforcement. So I called San Diego police, said, you guys want to come pick up a warrant? Because they knew this guy had a warrant and they didn't want to do their job. So I called San Diego police on purpose and made sure that they came. And so National City called me back, said, hey, you still got that guy? And I said, no, we gave him to San Diego. They were pissed. But I'm like, well, if you guys are going to do your job, why would I help you guys out? I learned that real early. But they can't do it in the jails. I know it's difficult, but there's a reason why we have forms. We have a 247 hold, which ICE would put on someone that's determined. So if you have if you have an SD on your chest, you would be on S is the 19 or 1904, which 19th letter is S, and then 4 is D. So you'd be on a San Diego gang. So if ICE would see that, they'd put a detainer. So in real world, they want to call ICE and say, when this guy's done with jail, they wouldn't release him, they would call ICE. Well, they're not doing that in Oregon. Number one,
they
it's
won't
not
do
a
it at all.
border state.
Right.
So,
Yeah, they won't do that at all.
Right.
It's that's the only time they ever ask anyone's, like, when someone gets booked, they ask, where were you born?
Right.
And that's the only question they'll ask. And as far as like when they get released, they won't let other agencies, ICE, know anything
Right.
about a release date because it's.
how do you feel about that? Letting
Is that
someone
it?
who's a gang
So-
member back into your population?
I don't necessarily agree with it.
Right, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
So that's a directive from COTEC, correct?
It's a state law that was passed
Okay.
in regards to local law enforcement.
But COTEC pushed that, correct?
Of course.
That's not a voted in policy.
Well, it was actually, it's Oregon, so they have supermajority, so that's pretty much,
So what you're saying is Oregon is completely fine with harboring illegal criminal aliens.
there's a charge for that too.
I don't understand the logic behind why they're okay with that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Supermajority.
But still, there's no common sense there.
I agree.
So you're okay with these people coming in here and doing all these illegal things? Like, let's just go to the top: murder and rape and pedophilia. That is absolutely absurd. And anybody who is voting for that should.
It bothers us.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you guys doing? You're harboring that. You're allowing that to happen in this state.
It bothers us if it's someone that does that who's a U.S. citizen, right?
Yeah.
Charles Manson, any of those, Ted Bundys and all. It bothers us if they're American citizens. So why is it any different that they're not born here?
Yeah.
Still did the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a case of humanity. Like what you're doing to humanity is wrong. It doesn't matter what you are or where you're from.
I wasn't a big fan of him commuting all the federal cases for death penalty either, right before he left office.
Yeah.
He did all that too. Why? Because of his religion? It's just like, that's not a,
Use it when it's convenient.
yeah. I was like, that's
Absolutely.
not
So here's a question.
yes.
I've been wondering why this hasn't happened sooner, and it's finally nice to hear a president do that. Finally making drug cartels terrorists. wow, it's about freaking time. I was like, why didn't that happen in the Reagan administration when we were like, oh, we got the war on drugs now? We have been losing that war, and every year it gets worse and worse. And does now by President Trump labeling now drug cartels as terrorists, does that now give us like all the associations or departments that we've talked about, does it give them now more freedom to be able to say, okay, like the movie Sicario, you know?
Good one.
When CIA now can kind of go in there and basically start going at these terrorist organizations and individuals like El Chapo. Okay, El Chapo now is labeled a terrorist.
Right.
His ass needs to go to like Guantanamo Bay, and that's where he needs to spend the remaining years of his life. That's what we need to be doing right now, and I think if we do that, we actually can now start getting a stronghold on all this shit that's coming up here, up through the little, you know, routes and highways of getting all the fentanyl up here and heroin and all this stuff. So it seems to me like this is a big deal now, because now we can even use our armed forces. So Department of Defense now can actually start going out, like Navy SEALs and Green Berets and Force Reconnaissance can now start going into Mexico, start doing missions.
Well, how about go a little bit more locally? Do people have illegal marijuana grows on federal land in the state of Oregon?
Yes, they do.
So what is that? Drug trafficking organization, terrorists,
That's a gray area.
right? No, it isn't. Not anymore. Because
Yeah.
you're going to have OCDF, which is DEA. You're going
But
to
you have a legalized, in the state of Oregon, it's legalized, but the federally is not. That's where you're going, right?
right, but it's on federal land.
Yeah, yeah.
So last week, the president signed a memo to everybody saying, let's see, marshals, DEA, FBI, everybody is now cross-designated as an immigration officer. So you guys go knock yourselves out. So if anyone thinks that, you know, that the people told him and voted for him for a reason, he's doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have seen in the area and stuff like that,
I didn't know that.
there's not a lot of people selling oranges here in Oregon these days. I'm serious.
Oh, really? I mean, I haven't seen any here lately, but I just figured winter or
Saw
whatever.
some people selling flowers today.
Does that, so hang on.
Valentine's is coming, so by the way, get your wife something nice.
Hey, thank you for that. What's funny about that is my wife's her birthday is on Valentine's. Oh, she hates that. She hates it, man. It's a bad deal. It's, yeah.
Right?
You need to get her 2 gifts if you
But
want to
the
make her
immigration policy, so Trump has basically executed, does it, and this I don't know, this is a question, with the immigration stuff, is that going to affect tobacco? Like, we're talking about something barreling down for, yeah, it's hard to know.
I don't think so. But that would be, you know, ATF's wheelhouse. You know, but
I like ATF. Those are my
No, you
hobbies.
don't. No.
Yeah, I love those guys.
No.
Yeah,
all
I should
the
have been an
extra
ATF agent. I could have like all the confiscated shit. It's going right to my home. You know?
Actually, okay,
Cubans.
I asked you your view on ICE. You said they're good guys. ATF?
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked actually a case with them back when I was in South Boston.
Okay.
They were pretty professional. You
Yeah.
guys.
They've come here. We're funny enough. I'm with the ATF because it's the alcohol, tobacco, firearms, right? So I'm part of the nicest group I have ever dealt with. Like OLCC, Oregon Tobacco. I don't want to say anything negative, but the ATF, the best department I've ever had to work with. So
Wow.
Good.
Did you have a Trump shirt on when you had to talk to them?
no. I do a story about it. But
Make American tobacco great again. So you have any really big story in your head that you're like, here's an example, like a day in the life? I mean, I'm sure you have a bunch of them, but it's like trying to pinpoint one of them that just kind of sticks out.
Yeah, I'll go G to R.
Okay.
Out of order.
Yeah,
This is going back 95, 96.
best years.
It was raining, so there's about 3 or 4 of us hanging out by the sewage treatment plant, which, you know, it's down there by the Tijuana River, so shit in the river.
hanging out by the shitter.
And then, you know, this all this flows from Mexico
Well, it makes sense if you
to the
drink water.
Tijuana River, and then it flows all the way up to where SEAL teams up in Coronado.
Oh,
So I mean, you know, like whatever. Everybody's sick, right? It is.
SEAL actually stands for like shit, and then
See.
yeah. Oh, it's sea. It's not shit, air, land.
Come on.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Okay. 3 tabber.
Wish
So, what were we saying? I'm sorry.
story.
Yes. Oh,
Sewage treatment.
long time ago, I'll leave the names out just because I know you guys will find this funny, but group was about 10 or so, and they come up and there's 3 of us, put everyone down on the ground, and one guy said ow because it was a cement, so I mean whatever. So we got everybody, but the last guy in the group, I can't remember who it was, or even myself.
Ice Cube.
Pushed him. He went down, wham, and we're all like, oh my God, what? How did that guy? He didn't have any arms.
Oh shit!
So yeah, so I'm like, in 2 years, I'm in my 20s. I'm like, what is that? I was like, so I'm like, is anybody here related to him? She like, see someone go like this. I'm his cousin. And of course, all the bad questions after that. How does he,
How's he wipe his ass? Yeah, we know. That's where we
that
go.
was at the top of the.
Do
Yeah.
you help him?
No, but I mean, it was. I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
Wow.
The disease and people come with everything.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And we had all the shots in the Army, but we had quite a few inoculations and all the HEPs and all that good stuff.
How about firefights?
Stand behind the Bronco and heard some whizzes, but it probably 22 or 9, not fired back. No, because I couldn't see who it was. But vehicle accidents, people that we were chasing, the policies change on pursuit policy under presidents. Seen a vehicle go through a checkpoint, almost run everybody over, and then once they got to it, they spiked the car, but it was like a Toyota Celica, so it wasn't a very big car. So we get to it, and this woman is screaming, and we're like, why is she screaming? She had road rash from her head to her ankle.
Ouch.
Because she got ejected. The car went like this, and it flipped. Guy in the back seat next to her went out the windshield, and he was dead on, wherever he was located. Just snapped his neck, and then she was. And the reason why I remember the story is because we went to, have an alien smuggling case on her when we were on a specialty unit. We actually had beards and stuff on anti-smuggling unit, and they put the wrong paper or the wrong at the hospital or the burn unit.
Stuck?
And so we heard we're in the hallway and they had to rip it off her. And then they had to put the right one on, and I'm just like, oh my
Ouch.
God.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just like,
That's not G-rated right there.
no.
No.
I just wanted to go G to R. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a quick one.
But yeah, I was just like, man, it of course doesn't make the newspaper. Nothing.
No, not until you did something wrong, then it makes the
Exactly.
paper. Yeah, like whipping
Or an
the
agent
immigrants from a
dies.
horse's.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that,
How often were agents dying?
Actually, what was it? We had an agent that died, I think it was back in 2011, and the guy admitted to shooting him, but it was overturned on appeals because he admitted shooting the agent while he was in prison in Mexico. So I didn't know that the U.S. Constitution carried over into another country.
Yeah.
So
If you're an American citizen, the Constitution follows you.
yeah, no, but I mean, this guy was an illegal alien. He was a criminal, and he shot Border Patrol
Okay.
agents. So, but when he admitted to it, it just got overturned right now. So now he got a retrial. So they arrested, I think, 7 that were in. They call them RIP squads. So these guys would come north out in the mountains in eastern San Diego and rob the aliens, just trying to come here for a better life. So there were, majority of the women back in the day were the ones that carried all the weapons in their ankles or their feet or whatever. So they're the ones that had the guns and knives and then of course you're like, oh my God, males can't search a female. Bullshit. I'm searching a female. You're not out here. You're doing policy from an office.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me, and everything that I've seen,
Yeah.
women have all weapons.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. So, but just how, it got better, Trump, same thing. Now it's on steroids. You see the 5,000 deported. It's not apprehensions at the border. He's already taken people already to their country of origin.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. So, backing up to what you said, so the policy changed. I understand Trump changed. Man, do you think that a male searching a female, regardless if they're a citizen or not, do you think that was probably taken advantage of during some administrations?
We did have someone that went to prison for that.
Okay.
And yeah, he did.
That's my point. Yeah.
He did. But
he went to prison.
the female was good enough to save the remnants of the assault on the glove, on a glove. So that's why the DNA put him behind bars, and the hiring of female agents. So I had like 8 in my class.
Okay.
So we had a lot, female agents coming up in the ranks.
So what was the ratio between male and female in, as far as agents go?
98 to 2%.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
How about now?
probably 8%,
Oh, hadn't gone up much.
maybe 10 at the most.
That's got to be a tough job for a female, though, I would think.
Well, yeah, when you're 4'11", or you're our size.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
rarely had an altercation by any means. And again, when you're doing things in a low light, you still see, the light behind you, because you come to, there's street lights, but you stay away from them so you don't have the light behind you, so they don't see this big Irishman from Boston, standing there going, boo. And that was a lot of things that we enjoyed doing
Baba
over the
Yaga.
years. So a group would be coming north on a trail, and I'd stand there and go, boo, and then I'll run back, but there'd be 2 agents south of them. So they'd run back to him, and they're like, all right, I got them all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a fun job. It was a good job. Broke a lot of bones, but, that was, because I was
broke bones?
Yeah, I was clumsy. Yeah, shoulder, wrist, yeah.
What was your favorite part about doing it? What did you really enjoy?
The specialty units, alien smuggling.
Which means
If you go about 30, 35 miles east of San Diego, out in the Campo Boulevard, out where it starts to get desert, people would have when you transport cars on a large vehicle that you can put about 8 cars on it to go from Boston to San Diego. Well, they had the smaller version. So they would drive that vehicle up to the border fence, and they would drive it up, and then they would extend the 2 pieces of metal over. So they would drive a vehicle up and over our fence, right? And then we would push the group the vehicle towards San Diego to the west. So we'd light up the vehicle, and then we'd have to terminate the pursuit, but we'd have plainclothes agents following them. So they were like, we got away, so we'd go all the way up, and sometimes we'd go to Compton, Los Angeles. We'd go all the way up there.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Or even the prosecutions unit working with the U.S. Attorney's Office, that was pretty cool. The guys on day shift would go and actually have to read all the fact sheets for all the scumbags that we'd catch during that night, and they would have to testify in front of the judge, this is this guy, and they'd have a whole stack of files. That was pretty cool, doing all that paperwork. And then the things changed over time. If there were 5 people in a vehicle, we could prosecute for alien smuggling. If the driver could be a U.S. citizen, a green card holder, illegal alien, whatever, it would still be the case, but then they would move it up to 10. And then the aliens or the smugglers would know down south to keep it under 10. So we would have, you could see even up here, say if someone from Southern California, he was an alien smuggler back in the 90s, and he was a U.S. citizen. If we pull him over up here in Oregon, he would have an FBI number, and it would say, if the cop ran it would say that he was arrested for alien smuggling, even though he's a U.S. citizen. So he would still have an FBI number. No prosecution, because they didn't have enough bodies in the vehicle. So we had to play all those games.
So did you have to write reports on everything you guys did?
Yep. We didn't necessarily have to come in from the field. We'd have a couple of agents at the station. We'd have a scope on the top of our station facing south, so we could look from the ocean all the way over the port of entry, so it could cover the 5 miles. And then we'd have scopes, drive the scopes up, a lot of the military, we had the tank scopes. They were really loud. And so you'd sit in there and you'd be like, oh my God. Yeah, I got a group here, got a group there. And, it was something else at the beginning. It was a lot of fun.
What about, did you have a lot of like military support, like with like Black Hawks and things like that?
No, we have an air unit,
Oh, you do?
air operations. And then we have, now we have a unit called Borstar, which they go out and they rescue the aliens that are dehydrated in the desert, or when they would tell, the agent, hey, there was 10 in this group and I only found 8. Well, who were they and where were they? And the agent could go track south or wherever it was, generally south, to where those people were and try to call in help for that part of the Border Patrol to get them the help they need, like EMTs and stuff like that.
So
And they
now-
would get brought in there and get them and get those aliens out of there.
So now that we have the drug cartels labeled as terrorists, does that now mean that we'll start seeing more military presence down there helping support?
Yeah. And we've had it. We had it under Clinton. We had it under Obama, and I don't think we had any under Trump or Bush. But we had Army assets, and and also they would put pack marijuana into surfboards, and then swim the ocean up into Imperial Beach or San Diego, and then get off and call and then get into a car and take off. Those are kind of fun.
The problem with cartels and with the drug game is that you can go after and you can take out the head dog, and there's 5 guys waiting to take his place. So it's never going to stop. There's always somebody else who's going to take the place, and you can wipe out a whole area, and there's another area ready to jump in and take the place.
Right.
So it's a revolving thing that we're always going to be dealing with because there's so much money involved in the drug game.
And each cartel has the areas
Yeah.
where they cross. So if you're brought to a stash house in Tijuana, you're told to go to this area and cross, or on the other side of the I-5 into Chula Vista's area. If you go on the wrong area, it probably, wouldn't
dead.
find you, yeah, because you've already paid to go this way, and if you go into another drug trafficking or cartels area, who knows, they
again.
won't find you again.
So what about the tunnels? Like,
We have a tunnel task force.
really?
Yeah, and they have all sorts of cool gadgets. Things like that sometimes get found by accident.
Wait a minute. So the movie Sicario, which you brought up earlier, that's a real deal. That's,
100%. And a lot of times they tunnel in so far, like we have a,
have you been in those tunnels?
no.
He's a
Come
big.
on, look at me. dude.
Yeah, seriously.
I've had the confined space training. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, you're not like Forrest Gump size where he just
No.
like, hey, here's a knife and a flashlight, go.
So they're small tunnels. They're not.
No, some of them, some of them are big. That's that's what they do, and they have all the gadgets. I always wanted to either be anti-smuggling. I go up with my classmate in the
Turn the
helicopter.
power back on.
What?
The phone's not charging.
That's okay. No, I'd go up and fly with her from time to time, and just cruise around with anyone that needed help. She'd say, "Hey, I'm here. Does anybody need help?" And they'd say, "We're pushing a group north. We don't know where they're at right now." And she'd go, and they're like, "Yep, just north of you right here." And just use a little flashlight, and she'd go and find the group right there. I mean, they're not smart sometimes. They wear red clothing and orange, and they don't always get it. But the guys in Arizona were real quick to wear military type stuff, so they blend in with the scrub brush and the it's just a big game of hide and seek. That's cool. It's a good time.
So what do you think about the next 4 years in this situation? Do you think that basically one person leading this country can make a humongous difference in this area?
Well, I think he's picked a really good people to surround him. Someone asked his press secretary, which I was shocked that she's only 27 years old. I had to Google her.
Isn't it like a $1,000 or something?
I don't know, but man, they asked her, well, what do you think when, you know, ICE is targeting, and they have files on all these people, whether going to Chicago, they're looking for this gang, or they're looking for this. And they hang out here, and they don't necessarily go out and then just grab people up, but people around them are going to be illegal aliens, and they've never gotten a ticket. They would, you know, they work in or whatever, and they get sacked up too. And she goes, "Did they jump the fence? Well, they're a criminal."
Right.
Next question. It's just like,
That's truth.
yeah, that's. I mean, that I haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
All the press secretaries we've been through. I mean, Sarah Sanders is pretty good.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
She was, you know, she was top notch.
Well, she was so good, she's now governor.
Governor, just like her daddy, who is now ambassador to Israel.
Oh, is that right?
So what do you feel about Mexico being worried about us deporting everyone back into their country and like affecting their economy? I mean, most of them are coming through there, and they're the ones letting them through in the first place.
But you have to understand, there's only several ways to get in. You either come through Canada, you come through Mexico, and a lot of Asia comes through Mexico. And, you know, people think that there's just Mexicans that jump the fence.
No.
And that's so far from
It's a
the
mixture.
truth, you know,
In fact, I'd say there's very few Mexicans, and it's mostly Central Americans, and then like Middle Eastern,
right?
Asia, things
Because,
like that.
I mean, people of Middle Eastern descent look Hispanic. That's just
They all look alike?
dark hair. No, I'm just the features. Dark
Oh,
hair.
no, I heard they all look alike.
Don't go there.
It's like white people, they all look alike.
Well,
That wasn't racist, it was just racial profiling.
well, I have a little ways to go.
Yeah,
Look alike.
what?
Yeah, what?
We're brothers.
No, he has a lot more hair than you do.
Shut up, I know. He's on his way out. He's still got Irish in
I'm
him.
older, too.
Yeah, but I'm more handsome.
Who said?
I do in the morning in the mirror before I leave work.
There you go.
Let's. How are we doing with these cigars? I'm coming down.
I'm on my
about-
final third.
Yeah, I'm on my final quarter here, actually. This is a much stronger cigar than last year.
Yes.
A lot more Nicaragua in here, I would say. But what do you guys think? How's it smoking?
I think it's been burning really well. I think the draw on it's maybe a little tight, not too much, but definitely a 2-puff cigar, you know, to get a good draw, in my opinion. It's been burning fairly evenly. I haven't really touched it up at all. Flavor's been good. You know, the notes are staying pretty solid for the most part. You know, not a whole lot of change in it. The one thing that's been a staple, though, is the pepperiness.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, for sure. The sweetness, so I haven't had to fix this at all. It's been burning very consistent. The ash hangs on. It definitely reminds me of, ward a little bit. Reminds me of last year's for sure. I feel like there was more of that Esteli crop last year, which I could definitely tell a difference. So this is more of a Nicaragua cigar, in my opinion. Last year you could tell the Amazon, the Esteli leaf. I'm not getting that so much this year. So. Not that I'm disappointed. Good cigar. I like it. Don't get me wrong.
I would actually agree with both of you. However, I don't think the intense peppery notes are still there. I think it's just now more mild. This has been a pretty good pull cigar. For me, this is a single puffer. Like you said, you're a double puffer. I get a good, strong amount of smoke with just one single puff. I've been pleased with this, but I would say compared to last year, I'm not getting as much of the Amazon flavoring
Right.
that we did last year,
my point,
which
yeah.
is kind of one of the reasons why I like smoking it last year.
Right.
This year, I feel like it's kind of more of a hybrid, like a Nicaraguan / Amazon
Yeah.
cigar, and just like you talked about being the filler, obviously I think we're noticing that with this. So
Yeah.
I still think it's a great cigar. I definitely think it's ones that, you know, get a couple of, throw in your humidor, you know, let it sit for a while, and then maybe bring it out in 6 months and, you know, have it again. I still have 2 of the cigars from last year that have just kind of sat in my humidor, and we'll figure out if I smoke one.
That's awesome, actually, because I can guarantee you when you smoke last year's version of this, which I don't have actually, I can tell you because I'm getting some of that Amazon flavor as I'm getting to the end here, but I tasted that was very pronounced last year.
it was.
Yes. Well, no.
All the way
through
through
whole
it last
cigar.
year. The whole cigar, you could taste
I'm
it.
picking up the Amazon here, but and we've had a hot topic, and so we've been discussing too. But I don't think the Amazon leaf is as strong as it was last year.
No. Still a good cigar. You know, definitely. I mean, you got to. I mean, it's a limited edition, and I think because of the uniqueness of it, I definitely think it's ones that you should be trying no matter what. Every year when it comes out, you need to go in your local cigar shop who has them and grab a couple. And I think you're going to be pleased no matter what the cigar is like. You know, CAO puts a lot of time and effort into these, and, you know, I think this is definitely a quality cigar. And if this was something that wasn't limited, I still would probably grab a few, you know, throw them in the humidor and just kind of keep them there. And, you know, every few months, I'd probably pull one out and smoke it.
Because I think the 26 is just not as good as the 25. So.
Yeah. If you are a avid cigar smoker and you like to smoke different cigars, then getting the limited cigars that come out, the CAO, Amazon Basin, the My Father, Jamie Garcia, trying that limited stuff, it may be more expensive, but it's worth it because it brings a different flavor than what you get from the other places, and that's why it is so limited, because it's a small batch of binder or filler or whatever the mixture is they're putting together to make that happen.
Well, in this particular case, it's a once-a-year release because so the Amazon Basin, what they do, they go down to Brazil, and they've got the Amazon rainforest. They actually cut holes, so like maybe like a 50 by 50 square plot, so that the sun can reach the tobacco leaves. So it's a fascinating process. It takes them a long time. It actually takes them 1 year to cure this stuff, and then they take it up a raft. So the Amazon Basin is probably the most intricate cigar. Like there is so many facets to this. They literally have to bring this leaf up a river on a raft. Like you're not traveling, you're not flying it, you're not traveling. It's amazing. It's an incredible story. The Amazon Basin is probably one of my favorite cigars, just as far as the story goes.
Something I would add to pairing aspect of it. I've had the Dalmore Scotch and I've had Dewar's 12-year, and I have to admit the Dewar's 12-year smoking with a cigar has been actually a really good pairing. You've had the same thing, and it's interesting. Every time I have a cigar with Scotch, I don't notice the peatiness of the Scotch nearly as much. It's almost like the natural aspect, the natural notes of the cigar supersede the peatiness, and I find you don't really get that kind of like peatiness where sometimes a lot of people don't like Scotch because of that. But I'm finding right now that the Dewar 12-year has been a fantastic pairing with this cigar.
I have to agree. I've never had that. So you're telling me that's a Scotch?
It's a Scotch.
Wow. Fantastic pairing. So last year we actually looked it up. We chose the not Jameson, the Blantons. We had the Blantons out, and we had Four Roses and Sazerac. I think the Blantons was one of the
was good
favorites,
with it, yeah.
and it was very good. I would still say that's a great pairing with this. However, Scotch, that Dewar Scotch is amazing. This is I've actually poured myself 2 cups because it's really, really good. So.
I did have to touch it up a couple times, so for me, but that could just be my style of smoking. You know, it's pretty standard. If I smoke or if I touch it up just twice, I still find it to be a good cigar. If I have to touch it up more than 5 times, it's more like, fuck, man, this is annoying. Yeah. You know, but this has actually been a really good cigar. You guys haven't had to touch it up at all. Jim's just had to relight his mainly because of just kind of telling stories and all that, but that's basically it.
Once again, I actually remember this, and I would have forgotten until I'm smoking it again. But last year, the sweet spot was down towards these twines. So, and again, here it is. I'm smoking this, and I'm like, this is the ratings pairing up because this is actually turning out really good towards the end. It's a 1 puff for me. I don't know why you're saying 2 puff. Look at his squint eyes.
What? I just like I like a thicker smoke, so 2 puffs.
Yeah. So before we rate the cigar and we wrap this podcast up, any more questions about the Border Patrol? Because this is our one opportunity.
Would you recommend being Border Patrol to anybody interested?
Good question.
Absolutely. I think it was last year. I think there was a $30,000 signing bonus.
Ooh, wow.
But who knows where you're going to go?
Yeah.
We all were blessed to go to San Diego. I mean, it wasn't Texas, thank God.
Oh.
Well, it's cool because, like, for me in chiropractic, don't become a chiropractor. Totally would not recommend it. Yeah, all you young people out there, don't do it.
For me in the cigar industry, it's definitely a good idea to go with the cigar shop.
Become a cigar shop owner? Yeah, that would be a lot of fun and easy, especially if I didn't have to have employees. Yeah, employees ruin everything. They're great, but they just cost so damn much nowadays. So, anyway, all right, how you doing over there, Double Sucker?
I'm enjoying my cigar.
Yeah, you haven't said much, which has been kind of nice. This is a great podcast.
Well, you're so long-winded. I can't get anything in otherwise.
Oh, I'm the long-winded one tonight.
You're speaking right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, your mom.
Take that. Just straight up. Thank you for your
Yeah, actually, when I finished it, I poured some more into yours. Yeah, Dalmore's a Scotch as well. Those are two different
It's
types of
pretty good.
Scotches too.
that one.
Yeah, I have that one. That's pretty tasty.
That's what I had a week ago when I actually had the cigar, and I thought it was a good pairing, which is why I brought it tonight. But I'm really glad I brought the Doers. I think the Doers has just been fantastic. So, all right, do we want to rate?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with you, Rue.
We'll go.
I want to hear what you have to say instead of just piggybacking on us every time. I agree with what you guys
Yeah,
said.
we're going to start with,
Let's start with
the
Rue.
doc this time. What do you think, Doctor?
So, I like the cigar. Thanks.
I agree with what Adam says.
Yeah, I agree with what Adam and Chris says, even before they haven't said it yet.
So that was a fail. You got an F for that. Let's try again.
Well, that was pretty much my schooling career. But hey,
C's get degrees.
do you know what they call a chiropractor in college who gets C's?
No.
And when they get out, they call him doctor.
We used to call it 71 badge and a gun.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, there were some classes I had to take a second time, which actually made me a better chiropractor than the people who just saw it once. So, yeah, there's my logic.
So back to the basin.
Oh, yeah, all right. I've been pleasantly surprised with the cigar. I'm not as happy as last year's was, but that doesn't mean I'm not happy with it. I think it's a good cigar. I think you definitely need to keep it in your humidor. You need to try it, pair it with your favorite Scotch, bourbon. We've had the 5-year rum here from our local rum distillery, which I think if you ever have a bottle like that, I think it would be a fantastic pairing. And if you're not really sure, you can always go with something like a tequila, Plata Blanco, and I think you're going to be happy with something like that. But for me, I would put the cigar probably at a 93, 94. I think it's a good pull, good smoke. It's got good flavoring to it. Definitely has the peppery notes. You get some tasting of earth, leather. I got a hint of molasses. I think that was a better flavoring in the beginning. That I kind of noticed more of that more than the maple. I haven't had the vanilla bean since that one time. It just kind of disappeared. But I'm pleased with it. I think this has been a great smoke for what we've been having going on tonight. So I'm liking it. And I also want to just say thanks to Big Mo for being here tonight. Really appreciate the thanks for that. I think it's just right now with all that's going on kind of in our society, it's nice to have kind of an actual perspective of things going on, because we see all the stuff on the news. Unfortunately, that's what we have to go by. And that's kind of why I say, you can have your opinions about illegal immigration until you talk to a legal immigrant, and that can kind of change some things. And I think right now, being able to have Big Mo here to talk about his perspective from like the CBP and a lot of the other organizations, I really do appreciate that insight into kind of what's going on and really hopefully what the next 4 years will bring for us.
Before I rate this, I have one last question for you, Big Mo. So, when did you become a Christian?
Let's see. Gonna say my junior year in college.
Okay, so you were definitely
1990.
right on. So you were definitely on the Border Patrol as a Christian.
Yes, definitely.
So did you see Christ at work while you were working with these 20 years you served, all this time you've been you've been in that field? Can you give us is there a story? Is there's something where he's like, holy cow, that was Christ right there. That was nothing but Jesus. Is there anything like that came out?
Well, I mean, things like, you mean someone, say, getting injured and they actually, I mean, I think a lot of people, talking to people when you're doing, say, a debrief on specifically they wanted what we call OTMs, which are other than Mexicans, which is everybody else.
Okay.
And trying to remember when it was probably Obama. They wanted, where did you start your journey? How bad was it? You know, because you pay down south. Say if you're coming from Colombia, which is all the way down there on the top of South America, the things that you have to do, and we find out that Mexican Border Patrol, how ruthless and brutal they are on the southern border of Mexico. And we're the ones that always made the newspaper, like we're the racists, and we're the ones, the heavy-handed ones, and that's so far from true. Right. And we all, you know, obviously saw some things, you know, along the road that I didn't appreciate. I had to talk to people after that, and I'm like, don't ever do that in front of me again.
Oh, wow.
You know, don't ever.
Wow.
Because we're all, you know, these people are just trying to, you know, third, fourth grade education, trying to come to the United States.
So I got a quick question. Did the Mexican Border Patrol and you guys work together well?
We worked with, Aduana is the Mexican customs. So when you're going from San Diego into TJ, you declare what you have going into their country, or possibly have to give them a little bit to get in. We don't do that coming into the United States. So there's a difference right there.
Yeah.
They don't get paid anything, like in Sicario, you know, the guy that was told, drive this car to here, unload the trunk, and then go keep doing your patrolling. That happens all the time, because he's supplementing his income. He doesn't get paid anything.
Okay.
And then there were Esfuerza Especiales, you know, all of the high-speed units you saw on Cigar, those were all true.
Wow.
Those were all guys, and we had a channel that we would turn, you know, we call them beta,
Okay.
and we would talk to them.
Because you guys are the alpha.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, and you know, the thing also that I liked about it, and when you asked about Christian, there, you know, it's just like in the military. We had Muslims, we had Wiccan, we had Christians, Catholics, Protestants, everybody. Same in the Border Patrol. One of my best friends, dad was Mexican, mom's Puerto Rican. So we mess with him all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what are you?
Yep.
You know, I'm Irish, Swedish descent. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, some days I'm Mexican, some days I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were harder on them voice-wise in commands to them. So that's one thing I learned, exactly what they would say, not from the academy, but say this, say that, and I mean, I'm sitting here with you guys. I made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, what we all want to do, but everyone, a lot of times say this is, keep it short, I don't know how long you want to go with this. We would go on detail to El Centro, which is out in eastern, you know, the southern one was Calexico, so that was another major port of entry. Or we'd go out to way over by San Padre Island, down by Brownsville, Texas, because they'd be trying to come in there through the old Gulf of Mexico, you know, or any of them there. And as San Diego agents, we had a certain way of doing things. So when we would go to these details, one specifically was just to the east of Fort Huachuca in Arizona, which is Army Military Intelligence. So we would go, and first thing, like first day, we driving down, the guy's like, yeah, that's where Charles Manson grew up there.
No way.
And you'd look at it and you're like, it looks like, I mean, it was like Trashville.
Yeah.
And like, didn't even look like a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we get down there and we'd go work, and the agents were just different, because we would deal with so many people on such a grander scale. There were so many people that we would, you know, go to, and when you'd ask someone in the group, you know, you're like, okay, where are you from, where are you from? And you get to someone, oh, we're Sikhs from India. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody speak English? Yeah, I used to be a cab driver in New York City. And I'm like, you speak English?
Yeah.
You go, yeah, I was a cab driver. You know, so things like that.
Yeah.
And we always treated everyone well until it wasn't time to treat someone well.
Sure.
Someone would stand up or try to be a tough guy, and he'd have to be, you know, there's always someone trying to, you know, 'cause, I mean, police, they pull someone over, there's one person in a vehicle.
Yep.
We would have 150 people on the ground around two of us.
Holy cow. That many?
Yeah. But, you know, and there's, you know, 100 running across the highway north.
Oh,
And we could, this is all we could get. I mean, God gave us 2 hands. And when we were on the training unit, they're like, catch 2 people, you're good.
Jeez.
So what if they all just got up and started running?
They wouldn't, because they didn't know where they're going. So I'm like, you just have to, get one of the units up north of that, because they were going towards Tombstone,
Okay.
going up that way. And there were, one night we were assigned processing, and again, big cells, a lot of people. And I remember it vividly that I go in there, all right, everybody sit down, and this one guy wasn't cooperating. He was showing off and whatever. And I'd say there's maybe 80 people in the cell, all males. And I'm like, all right, everybody sit down. Okay, I need to know who was the last person that crossed, because we could see the people making the arrangements from the scope. Okay, so who was that last person that made sure that everyone got across into the U.S.?
Yeah.
I want to know who that was.
the man
So this
chart.
guy was just chirping. He's like, saying, chinga tu madre, and go F your mother, stuff like that. A little leg sweep, sat him down quietly in front of everybody. Everyone cooperates now.
Wow.
I had guys were like, what are you doing? Agents from there, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's 80 to 1. What do you mean, what am I doing? It's an officer safety thing.
Yeah.
There's 80 people in here, and it's just me.
Yep.
Back then I was a lot smaller,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? But I was just like, are you serious? And they're like, well, I'm going to go tell my boss. And I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can go tell your boss, yeah, that's San Diego guys, whatever, but he's not listening. So he, we went through defensive tactics, and that's how we were taught, and you're not complying. I'm going to sit you down, and he didn't like it, but now everybody's listening to me.
There you go.
But we were different than the rest of the country. We had a really big sector. You got all the Texas sectors, New Mexico, small, Arizona, a little bit bigger, but San Diego was always the largest sector. in the
Use of
country.
force is big now with in law enforcement,
Yep.
and you have to really be careful on the amount of force you use. So, does that still pertain to border patrol as far as like like you said, 80 to 1? I mean, you have to keep order in some sense, but they're technically illegal aliens. So, I mean, are their rights? Use of force is use of force. I mean,
Right. And it's 2:00 in the morning, and I'm going home to my family.
Yeah.
I'm going home at the end of shift, and it's well within the triangle there, the use of force.
yeah.
And everything's good. But I'm in the middle of the desert. There's one other person with me from San Diego, and probably 5 miles away is the next person.
Wow.
But they're probably picking up another group of 100.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
when it comes to that, were you
I
there?
was in fear for my life.
Well, but were you there?
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, I have had managers over the years, like, well, you didn't say what I thought happened out there. I said, well, that's the problem, sir. You weren't there.
Yeah.
So you want me to change my memo, and you're sitting there in your office. That's not happening. Well, I'm going to tell the patrol agent in charge of me to get in. Fine. I'd been in 2 years, and I was terrified.
Yep.
But I'm like, I was there, Like, I mean, nobody took a swing at me,
Yeah.
pretty much in my career. I mean, we'd come up on, groups way out east, and they would follow the power lines or whatever. They would say, follow the power lines north from the interstate. Once you get to the top of the hill, sleep. So we would go up to the top of the hill, and you'd see everybody sleeping, and you're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And when people get up and they're, you say things in Spanish, and a white guy's telling you in Spanish, oh my God, they're the Border Patrol. I mean, you would get hit because people were getting run over. I mean, that was like part of the job. It was like football. It's pitch black out, and I'm like, I just saw stars because someone just ran me over because they're trying to get away,
Yep.
trying to stay in the U.S. I mean, I didn't get angry. I just grabbed whoever I could grab.
Take them down with me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did the hell go? I don't know.
Yeah. It's almost chaos at its finest. Well, I burned through the twines on this.
Nice.
And, yep, I want to say this is a sweeter back end than last time. I'm really enjoying. So the first part of the cigar, I'd say the first 50% was just like it was not. It almost did not bring me back to the Amazon Basin. Like it was like, yeah, it wasn't as great. But the back end was very, very good. I'm going to give this a solid 93. I think it's a great cigar, a great follow up to last year's for sure. So, what do you think? You've had 24 too.
Well, I think that at the beginning was kind of spicy. It was, for me, it was kind of hot. My tongue was tingling. No vanilla, but had a little chocolate or whatever you want to call it, molasses at the beginning. But now that I'm getting towards the end, it is a lot better, sweeter. Or
I noticed that myself, especially getting close to the twines.
I mean, I'm just enjoying it better right now. Nothing's hitting my tongue. It's smoother. I do like it.
Definitely smoother. The Estella leaf comes hard.
So I'm going to go with a 91.
All right.
I'm going to go with a 91.
There we go. 93, 93, 91. It's
good though.
Adam, what do you got?
Like
Well, I'm burning through the twine right now, and I agree. When you get down to the twine, it's kind of sweetens up, and it's a little bit more pleasant. I do like the last year's version better.
Yeah.
Just off of that, I would say I'm going to just rate this a 92, 93. It wasn't bad, but if I'm comparing it to last year's, it doesn't rate near as high. I think last year, we probably rated it about a 95, 96.
I have to go back. I think we did. I think it was 94, 95, right in that window.
Right in that window,
so
yeah.
we can, I can see this coming down a smudge, 92, 93.
So, one thing I got to say about these, the way that they present themselves looks the same every year. Mm-hmm. So, if you have two of these in your humidor, and you have two from last year in your humidor, how are you going to tell them apart?
So what I would recommend, it's just a recommendation, right? And I'm not the guy, but
The cellophane itself
twine
has a
it,
label. but
twine it for the years. So they came out in 21, you got one twine. So in 26, they should give it 6 twines. In 25, it should be 5 twines.
that's a good idea.
That's what I would do.
I mean, since they don't actually put a label on it, it's hard to tell what
Right.
it is you're smoking unless you have the cellophane there that tells you what it is.
Exactly, yeah, the shop.
But it's still a great cigar.
Yeah.
For a one-off that you can't get but once a year.
All right, well, I think that wraps it up. Thank you guys. Kind of a long podcast, but we made it through the Amazon Basin. We do have a box left, so if you can make it into Sandy Mountain Cigars, we got the Amazon Basin, $23.
Yep.
So,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Like
for
and
watching.
Thanks,
subscribe.
guys. Appreciate it.
catch you on the next one.